All right, let's dive into something that can really make a difference in your real estate business, and that's cold calling.
Yeah,
It might seem a little intimidating, but the potential to open the floodgates to new leads, it's seriously huge.
it is.
So whether you're just starting out or you've been in the game for a while, this deep dive is going to give you the tools you need to make cold calling really work for you.
Exactly.
So we'll break down strategies, scripts, even how to use tech to, make it all feel less overwhelming.
Definitely. And I think a lot of people miss this, but it really all starts before you even pick up the phone.
Oh, okay, interesting. So what do you mean?
It's all about mindset.
Okay, so let's talk about that. The fear of rejection.
Yeah.
How do you get over that fear of hearing no all the time?
It's funny because every no actually brings you closer to a yes.
Okay.
And each time you talk to someone, even if it doesn't go well, it helps you get better at it.
So you're saying instead of being afraid of rejection, think of it as valuable feedback.
Exactly. Think of it as practice.
Okay, so if you go in with a positive attitude, people can actually sense that, right?
Absolutely.
And that can actually make a difference.
Oh, yeah. When you project that confidence and value from the beginning, it's contagious.
Interesting.
I mean, think about it. Who would you rather talk to? Someone who sounds upbeat or someone who sounds like they've already given up?
Yeah, that's a good point for sure.
Right.
So, okay, preparation is key then.
Absolutely.
A lot of the experts recommend having a script.
Yeah.
But how do you use a script without sounding, like a robot?
Yeah, the script is a guide. It's not like you're stuck with it. It helps you structure the call,
Mm-hmm.
but you can adapt it to the conversation as you go.
Okay, so it's kind of like a roadmap, but with some detours along the way, depending on who you're talking to.
Exactly. Yep.
That makes sense. So, all right, break it down for us. What does a good cold calling script actually look like?
Okay, so first, you want a friendly opening. Something like, "Hi, this is your name with your brokerage. How are you today?"
Okay, pretty simple.
It's simple, it's approachable, it starts the conversation on a good note.
Got it. And then after that initial, hello, what's next? You got to tell them why you're calling, right?
Exactly, and this is where your research comes in. So instead of just saying something generic like, "I'm calling to see if you're interested in selling your home," you know, tailor it to their situation.
Oh, okay.
You could say something like, "I specialize in homes in neighborhood area, and I noticed your property. It looks beautifully maintained. It shows you've done your homework."
Right. It shows you're not just picking random numbers.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. So then, once you have their attention, how do you convince them that you're the right agent for them?
This is where you present your value proposition. You want to highlight your expertise, how you can help them reach their goals. So for example, you could say, "I've helped so many families in your area get top dollar for their homes, and I'd love to share some insights with you."
Got it. So focus on what's in it for them, not just on what you're trying to get out of it.
Exactly, yeah. And finally, you need a strong call to action. Don't just end the call abruptly. Guide the conversation toward the next step. You could say, "Would you be open to a quick chat about current market trends in your neighborhood?" Or, "I'd be happy to send you a free report on maximizing your home's value. Would that be helpful?"
Oh, okay. So always leave them wanting more
Yeah.
and give them a way to connect. This is great stuff. But let's face it, no matter how good your script is, you're going to get some objections.
Well, for sure.
How do you handle those?
Objections are just part of it, but they don't have to be roadblocks.
Okay.
They're often just requests for more information or a sign that the person needs some reassurance. So think of them as opportunities to, address their concerns and build some rapport.
So instead of getting defensive or pushy, you're saying just listen carefully and try to understand where they're coming from.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
So let's say they hit you with the classic, "I'm not interested."
Yeah.
Instead of just giving up, you could say, "I understand. A lot of homeowners I talk to are happy with their current situation. Would you mind sharing what's making you hesitant? Maybe I can offer some insights that might be helpful."
Okay, so you're turning it around.
Right.
Instead of just accepting defeat, you're trying to learn more.
Exactly.
I like that. What about when someone says, I'm not looking to sell right now?
That's a common one. You could acknowledge their position and then say something like, "That's perfectly fine. A lot of people in your area are in the same boat. But with the market constantly changing, it might be beneficial to have a quick chat about the latest trends. It could help you make informed decisions down the road, even if you're not selling immediately."
Oh, so you're framing it as valuable information.
Yes.
Not a sales pitch.
Exactly.
I like it. Okay, what if they say, I already have an agent? That feels like a dead end.
It doesn't have to be. You could say, that's great to hear. It's so important to have an agent you trust. I'd love to stay in touch in case anything changes, or if you ever need a second opinion. Would it be okay to add you to my list for local market updates?
Ah, okay. So you're planting a seed for the future
Exactly.
and positioning yourself as someone helpful,
Exactly.
not a threat. This is making me feel a lot better about those objections.
Good. That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah, I like this.
Preparation is key, though. Remember that. Anticipate those objections, have those responses ready, and make them sound natural.
All right, good advice.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground here already, but we've got much more to dive into. Stick with us. We'll be back after a quick break.
It's amazing how much technology has changed how we approach something like cold calling.
Oh, totally. I mean, it's come a long way. We're not stuck with, like, dialing numbers by hand and flipping through note cards anymore.
Right. It's a whole new world.
It really is. And now we've got all these tools that can basically be your virtual assistant, helping you stay organized and efficient, keep track of all those important client conversations. It's kind of a game changer.
It really is. And the great thing is, a lot of these tools are pretty affordable and easy to use. So they're accessible to pretty much every agent, no matter where they are in their career.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's like everyone's got a chance to play the game now, no matter what their budget is or how tech savvy they are. So let's talk about some of those specific tools. What are some things that can help me streamline my cold calling efforts?
One of the most important tools out there is a CRM system.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of CRM. But to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what it is or how it can help me with cold calling.
CRM, it stands for Customer Relationship Management, and it's basically a central hub where you can manage all your interactions with potential clients and current clients. It helps you track your calls, schedule follow-ups, keep detailed notes on every conversation you have. It's like having this super organized brain that never forgets anything.
Wow, that sounds incredibly helpful, especially for someone like me who, sometimes struggles with organization.
Yeah.
So, besides keeping me on track, how else can a CRM system actually help me be more effective with my cold calling?
Well, it allows you to personalize your approach
Okay.
because you're tracking every interaction. You can tailor your follow-up calls and messages based on what you've talked about before, so it doesn't feel like you're just sending out a generic message to everyone.
Right. Yeah, nobody wants to feel like they're just receiving some kind of mass email or, a robotic phone call.
Exactly.
So, okay, that's CRM. What other tech tools should I be thinking about?
Another one that's super helpful is dialers and calling apps. They can really speed up the dialing process, which saves you a ton of time, and some of them even let you leave pre-record voicemails.
Oh, that's amazing. Especially if you find yourself leaving similar voicemails to, multiple people. That could save a lot of time.
Oh yeah, for sure. And speaking of voicemails, it's super important to have well-crafted voicemail scripts ready to go.
Mm.
Think of them as mini pitches that are concise, impactful, and always have a clear call to action.
Okay, so even when I can't connect with someone directly, I'm still making a good impression, prompting them to reach out.
Exactly.
What are some key things to keep in mind for those voicemail scripts?
Think about what would grab your attention if you were getting the voicemail. Instead of the generic, "Hi, this is your name, please call me back," try something more engaging. Like, "Hi, prospect's name. I just came across a property and neighborhood that I think would be perfect for you and wanted to share some details. Give me a call back at your number when you have a chance."
Oh, yeah, those little details can make a difference. So we talk about tech tools, we talked about scripts, but what about just my delivery? Like, does tone of voice really matter that much?
Oh, it's huge. Studies show that people are much more likely to respond positively to a voice that sounds confident, clear, and helpful. Not monotone, not scripted, not pushy.
Yeah, totally. I can see that. How do you find that sweet spot between sounding professional but also approachable?
It's all about finding that balance between preparation and authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
Having a script is great for structure, but you don't want to sound like you're reading from a telemarketing manual. You want to allow room for natural conversation, let your personality shine through.
Right, be yourself. Let your passion for real estate come through.
Exactly.
Okay, good advice. Any other common pitfalls that you see people fall into?
One I see a lot is people giving up too easily. Cold calling, it takes persistence. It's a long game.
It's about staying committed, even when it feels tough. What would you say to someone who's feeling really intimidated by the whole idea of cold calling?
I'd say embrace the challenge. Like any skill, it gets easier and more natural the more you do it.
So step outside that comfort zone and just keep pushing forward, even if you stumble a bit along the way. I can do this.
Exactly. You got this. And remember, every expert out there, they all started somewhere.
Yeah.
They all had those moments of rejection and setbacks when they were first starting out.
It's all part of the journey, right?
It is.
This has been so insightful. I'm really starting to see cold calling in a whole new light. We've covered so much already, from that initial mindset to crafting those scripts, handling objections, and of course using technology to make the whole process smoother.
Hmm.
I feel like I've got a much better understanding now of how to approach cold calling effectively. So we've talked a lot about like the nuts and bolts of cold calling.
Yeah.
But what about the ethical side of things?
Hmm.
How do you make sure you're being effective without, being too pushy or disrespectful?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to approaching cold calling with integrity.
Okay.
You're talking to real people, right?
Right.
They deserve respect. They're not just potential leads on a list.
So how do you strike that balance then
Yeah.
between, generating leads and being ethical?
Well, I think timing is a big one.
Okay.
Like if you're bombarding people with calls at all hours,
Right.
that's just going to annoy them and hurt your reputation.
Yeah, for sure. I wouldn't want someone calling me during dinner or late at night.
Exactly.
So what are some good guidelines to follow?
Sticking to reasonable business hours is key.
Okay.
Be mindful of time zones.
Yeah.
And always check if it's a good time to talk before you jump into your whole spiel.
Right. Being considerate goes a long way.
Absolutely.
Any other things I should keep in mind?
Well, transparency is crucial.
Okay.
Be upfront about who you are and why you're calling. Don't try to trick people or act like you already know them.
Right. Honesty is always the best policy.
Exactly. People appreciate it when you're straightforward with them.
What if someone asks me to take them off my list?
You absolutely have to respect their wishes. It's their right to opt out. And if you keep pushing, it's just going to make you look bad.
This is making me realize that ethical cold calling, it's not just about avoiding those bad practices.
Yeah.
It's also about really connecting with people and, offering something valuable.
You got it. By
Mhm.
focusing on being helpful and building relationships,
Yeah.
you're setting yourself up for a much more sustainable and fulfilling business.
It's a win-win.
Exactly.
I can help people reach their goals while also building my own reputation as someone they can trust.
Exactly.
It feels a lot more rewarding than just chasing those commissions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, those positive relationships can lead to referrals,
Oh, yeah.
which are often the best leads you can get.
This deep dive has been incredible. We've explored so much, from crafting those scripts to handling objections like a pro, using technology, and of course navigating all the ethical parts of cold calling.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a really solid plan now to start making those calls with confidence and a real sense of purpose.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's been awesome to see your enthusiasm and how much you've dived into this topic.
Yeah.
Just remember, it takes practice.
Okay.
But if you're persistent and you genuinely want to help people, you can achieve amazing results.
Awesome. Before we wrap up, any final words of wisdom for someone who might still be a little hesitant about cold calling?
Embrace the challenge.
Yeah.
Every expert started somewhere.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Learn from them and just keep refining your approach.
Progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
I'm so excited to put all of this into action. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the world of cold calling.
My pleasure.
And for everyone listening out there, you've got the knowledge and the tools to make cold calling a powerful part of your real estate business. Now go out there, make those calls, build those relationships, and watch your business take off.